Hey YouTubers! Now, if anyone out there is either a Tom and Jerry fan, a Roald Dahl fan, or even a fan of both those things, you probably would have noticed that Tom and Jerry are bringing out their own version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Now, I've seen some people put down their opinions on this movie already, which isn't actually out yet, unless it came out when I wasn't looking and I didn't check the dates, because I haven't checked the dates. So, sorry about that. The opinions on this movie so far seem to be pretty negative, giving off claims of unoriginality and being a pointless idea that basically adds nothing and there being no real point to it because there's already been two versions of the Chocolate Factory movies. Now, while I do understand where you're coming from on this, I would like to put some level of my own opinion onto this before I actually review this movie, which I no doubt will. But at the same time, understand in a sense where the negative opinions are actually coming from. But first, let's have a look at exactly what we're dealing with here.
Willy Wonka's opening up his factory. He's giving away tons of free chocolate.
Get ready for an all-new original movie.
New and original how exactly?
Chocolate.
Well, that did look like decent animation.
The fifth golden ticket is mine.
The art style is good. The characters I think are good. I don't actually know this version very
Journey of a lifetime.
I'm Tuffy and Oompa Loompa.
well. Hopefully he won't steal the show again this time, if he did last time.
There is no life I know to compare with your imagination.
Not sure if recording or someone singing it again.
If you truly wish to be. Welcome.
Everything here is edible. Edible. I mean, if you need it.
Looks like he's going to steal a few spotlights from Mr. Wonka there.
Guys, the ride might get a little.
Now that actually looks good, and I don't know what I'm saying actually, because I expected it to look good. The boat scene, very well animated.
Mr. Wonka, it's the most wonderful place in the whole wide world.
See, there's decent animation and art style here, so it's got that going for it. It's just not
What
original.
happens when you reach the dessert?
But is that a
Tom and
bad
Jerry,
thing?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
In my
Factory.
opinion, it's
Look
not.
for it on digital HD and DVD.
And that's another thing. I am quite pleased that it's on DVD only because, you know, no disrespecting DVD only movies and no disrespecting this movie. I do not think it should be a cinema thing. It just would not work there. I am sorry, but in my opinion, it wouldn't. Now, as you've probably noticed from my little trailer response thing there, I'm not actually all that skeptical about this movie. For one thing, Tom and Jerry have done this before with The Wizard of Oz in 2016. And that was literally the actual movie of Wizard of Oz, animated. Tom and Jerry added into it with just a few little rewrites just to explain why they were there and basically incorporate them into the movie a bit more. And that seems to be, I would guess, what they are doing here with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I get what people are saying that it's not original, but first of all, it's not meant to be, although there is a bit of a counter argument to that, which I'll come to in a moment. And secondly, I honestly don't think lack of originality is that much of a deal breaker. I understand why originality is important, but at the end of the day, pretty much everything has been done anyway. And I'm not saying you can't try something new if you are a writer yourself, but it shouldn't be a problem if it has been done before, because what matters is it hasn't been done by you. And that's basically why I'm cool with remakes in general. They can be directly similar to the original or completely different to the original, and that can be varying results. I know sometimes they make it too similar, sometimes they change too much. I get that, and that will be covered in my reviews. But at the end of the day, it's another version, and that's what remakes are to me. They are a different person's version. They're not ruining the original or anything like that. I know a lot of people think they are, but to me they're not. They're just a different version, and I just like seeing other versions of things, even if I end up not liking that version. And it's that that will cause me to give something, if it is a remake, a bad score on my review. Not because it was a remake, but because it was, in my opinion, a bad one. taking a look at this, it seems to be doing exactly what the Wizard of Oz version did, which is basically take the movie, animate it, put Tom and Jerry in there. And I don't think that's that much of a bad idea. I just think it might just be something they're doing for fun. It's just like maybe someone thought, what would Tom and Jerry do if they were there? I'm not saying that they might not be in it for the money, but I try to give remake writers the benefit of the doubt because I have actually had thoughts myself about remaking certain movies, or at least doing my own version of them, or something based around them. I don't know, simply because I just want to see if I can do it. I'm not saying I'd be good. I just want to see if I can do it, and maybe that's why people remake movies, or at least some of them do. It's been a while since I actually saw the Tom and Jerry version of The Wizard of Oz. So long ago, in fact, I actually didn't realise it was only 2016. I actually thought it was a lot older. That's what I thought. But I actually enjoyed it. And one thing I found interesting about it, which I'll cover more when I actually review that movie, is that it sort of explained a few things. Like it took some plot holes or things that could be plot holes and sort of obviously didn't explain them because it's not the same writers, but it gave an idea of why they were there and like made them make a bit more sense in this version at least. So, you know, it added something new. It basically did a remake in one of the least original ways ever. Pretty much did the first movie word for word and just put a few new characters in there, and it still managed to give something new. Maybe this film will give something new. I don't know. I will judge it when I see it. And as I pointed out earlier, the art style and animation actually looks really beautiful in my opinion. The characters, including Tom and Jerry themselves, are really well drawn in my opinion. And some of the animation just looked really good from that trailer. And as I stated earlier, the way they animated the boat scene I just thought it looked really decent and I could just really enjoy seeing that animated. It kind of looked like a cartoon I would have watched when I was younger. It looked like one of those kind of movies with all the different colours representing the lights, and it's just like it's a simple idea, I'm guessing, but I've always really liked it, and it's always had that kind of nostalgic feeling for me to see something animated like that. The only possible downside to this movie that I can see is that they may end up overusing this Tuffy character again. Now, I didn't actually notice this the first time round when I watched Tom and Jerry's version of The Wizard of Oz, and if I did, I obviously forgot about it. But I saw a review of that movie on YouTube once, and one of the main criticisms is that that movie had Tuffy as well, and he basically stole the spotlight from everyone, including Tom and Jerry, and it's meant to be their movie. I'll have to re-watch it myself just to see if I have that opinion. But from looking at this trailer, I'm sure you noticed it yourself, he was using some of Mr. Wonka's lines, or at least one of his lines. And I'm thinking, are the Chocolate Factory characters going to be off screen too much and therefore look like they have no relevance in their own film? And will it end up looking like they should have just not included them and had it literally be the Tom and Jerry version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and just that, not have the real characters in at all, just be the Tom and Jerry characters, which kind of defeats the purpose of this movie, in my opinion. One thing I don't get about this trailer, though, is why is it calling it a new original movie? I mean, it's new in that it hasn't come out yet, but it isn't original. I mean, I suppose it's an original idea putting Tom and Jerry in an old movie, but if the Wizard of Oz version exists, then that's not even an original idea. And this is coming from someone who, like I've said already, doesn't care if things are original or not. People are already going to know that it's not an original movie, so why are they pretending it is? I mean, it's not going to fool anyone into seeing it, so why say that? That's basically the bit that staggers me. There's no reason to pretend it is original, so Why would they say that? It don't make sense to me. That is like the one bit I'm not getting. Basically, I'm not going to judge this movie directly on the trailer. I mean, I'm perfectly okay with giving my reaction to trailers, and maybe this will become a thing on my channel. I don't know. But at the end of the day, the trailers aren't always that good, which is another video I plan on doing at some point. But at the end of the day, I am going to judge this movie as I see it and for what it is. I am not going to be put off by the lack of originality because, like I say, that is not a deal breaker to me. And if it was, it would just be really hard to review things because pretty much everything's been done. What's more interesting, in my opinion, is seeing what people do with the thing that's already been done. In other words, it's just like Bananarama said, it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. And that is what gets results. See you around, YouTubers. Not because it was a remake, but because it was, in my opinion, a bad one. Don't even know why I did that.